One thing I've never really actually heard somebody talk about on the internet is what it's like to leave behind an entire life and start a new one. And I did that, so I kind of want to like talk to you guys about my experience. Because I think for some people it's like the key to happiness, and it's really terrifying to do. And I don't know, if I talk about my experience, maybe it will help other people. So about like 2.5 years ago, I was in my hometown. I was in like a 4-year relationship with someone who, like, I was so close with their family. Like, they were basically my family. Everybody thought we were gonna get married. But I always really wanted to leave my hometown. And honestly, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm never gonna be able to do that, because I wanted to move to California, which is so expensive. Okay, also, this foundation looks really yellow on me. I got to a point in my life where I was like, am I ever gonna make it out of here? I don't know why, but it felt so hard and so scary to leave, especially because my partner at the time was not willing to leave our hometown ever. And like I said, I thought we were endgame. But every time I came to California, it was like my soul yearned for it, literally. I just knew that there was like a whole life out here for me. I could feel it in my bones, but I didn't know how that would ever happen, because at the time, like, leaving a 4-year relationship was actually terrifying. And like leaving your family and trying to like even be able to afford California alone was like crazy to me. I traveled to Hawaii for 2 months, and I think that was the first time I was ever like away from my family, completely on my own. It was really scary to do, but it was like the biggest taste of happiness I've ever had. I felt like I could be my own individual, because when you're around, like, in your hometown, I grew up in a really small town, so everybody knows who you are, everybody has an idea of like who you are, but nobody actually knows, and you change, especially after high school. I felt like I needed more bronzer. I felt like I could just be myself, and I could be whoever I wanted to be, and it was amazing. And I went home, and that was the worst year of my entire life, because I had that taste of freedom and I knew what was out there for me, and I was just like way too scared to go get it. And I think for like that whole year in my relationship, I knew I would eventually have to leave, but there was part of me that was just like hoping he would change his mind, or just like hoping that we could, like, I don't know, that I could have both lives. Clearly that wasn't a possibility. So I did like so much inner work. I'm not even kidding you. So much like manifesting, building my career, just like working on myself, because I had that taste of freedom. I knew what it felt like, and I had like the motivation to go after it. I didn't even really know that I was doing it, but I was the whole time. A little less than a year later, I had like this impulse to just go back to Hawaii because I missed it so much. And I was going for a week. And when I was out there was so many signs. I was like, I have to be here right now. And that's never really where I like saw myself ending up, but it was like calling my name at the time, and I knew I had to be there. It was such an emotional journey. I can't even tell you guys how many emotions I felt just knowing what I had to do. I went home and I basically broke up with my boyfriend. Honestly, guys, that was like the worst week of my life. Like, I felt like I was going to die. Mentally, physically, emotionally, mostly emotionally. Like, I did not think I was gonna survive that. I hated doing that, because how are you gonna like leave an entire life behind? Like, what do you mean? That was so hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, I was like, how the fuck am I gonna do this? So basically, I came home from Hawaii, broke up with my boyfriend, packed all of my shit, and just moved there. It was crazy. Everybody was like, what are you doing? You're insane. Like, no, don't do this. But I was just like, I'm not even gonna explain this shit to anyone. My quote, like my motto at the time was, only has to make sense to you. And that was like the best thing for me to live by, because I cared so much how I was like hurting other people, and how hurting other people was going to like affect them. And I got to the point where I was like, no, fuck this. Like, I'm doing what makes me happy. And after 6 months on the island, 7 months, I moved to California, and I've never felt like so much like myself, so at home, so just happy and free, and like I'm building my own life, and it's just the best thing ever. I had to do my mascara off camera, but it was seriously the best thing I could have ever done for myself. And if you feel like the need to leave and be on your own and find out who you are on your own, do it. Even if it's the most painful thing ever, that's what will get you like ultimate happiness. Like, I was happy in my hometown, even though I was like depressed at the same time, but I was like, I could have been happy, and I think I always told myself like I can be happy here. But I knew that there was this level of happiness out there for me, and I just had to go. I had to go take it, and I'm so glad I did. And I never ever have regretted it a day in my life. Temporary discomfort is better than just like settling for a life that you know is not like your full potential. Anyway, huge advocate for leaving your hometown, starting a new life, following your dreams, going out there and getting it. Love you guys.